Hello, guys. Hello. So it's
Yes, sir.
yeah. Thank you for coming early. We will start the lecture soon.
Yeah, that's all right. So actually, I have missed my quiz last week because I hadn't enrolled. So
Yeah.
are we going to do
Okay.
the quiz at the end of the session?
Okay. So I will allow you to take the quiz at the beginning of the tutorial.
At the beginning?
Beginning of the
Can,
tutorial.
can we
Whose
schedule the?
tutorial is it? Like, are you coming to my tutorial or Gangsang's
So
tutorial?
I'm in the Gangsang's tutorial.
Okay. So I will give you the quiz in the last 20 minutes then.
Okay, that's all right, sir. Thank you so much.
अहिलेसम्म बन्द भएको छ फेरि बन्द भइदियो भने के हुने थाहा छैन औषधि पत्ता लाग्यो भनेर भनिरहेछ अब हेरौँ के हुन्छ कहिले
Okay, so hello guys. So I think we have enough people already here, so we can start. Let's go ahead. Let me share my screen. Let me share the screen. Right. So let's start. Okay, so today we are going to look at firewalls and virtual private networks. So how many of you have ever heard of the word firewall? Did you guys hear of the word firewall before?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what do you understand from the word firewall? What is the meaning of it as you understand it?
It control network traffic, sir.
It controls network traffic. Very simply put, very elegant. That's correct. It
Is the
controls.
security control system, security, the like the virus and all the things you control like that one.
Especially inbound and outbound traffics.
Yes, correct. So you probably like. Do you know where a VPN is employed? Like when you use a firewall, do you think your personal computer has a firewall?
Yes.
Yeah.
It-
What is the purpose of that firewall that is installed in your personal computer? What is the major purpose, do you think?
To protect.
Does it, like, do you ever, when you are opening something, do you ever get a warning that it is not this is not a trusted site? Do you want to believe this?
Yes, sir.
So who is sending you that information, do you think?
The firewall.
Yeah, the firewall, the purpose of the firewall is not only, like, if you look at the untrusted network, it will give you a warning as well to see that, hey, you are trying to open an email, like every email, when you have an attachment, like how many of you use Outlook? Do you use Outlook? Do you use Outlook?
Yes.
In Outlook, when you try to open an email attachment, what is a warning? What is a standard warning for every email attachment? When you're opening, there is something that you get. What is that? Okay, so these are the things that you need to try, right? Okay, when you get a email, when you get an attachment email from someone, only open it if it is from really trusted network, if it is really something that that you are expecting. We already covered this in the second or third lecture, right? We talked about spam email, we talked about phishing emails. So the the purpose of a firewall is to protect us against unauthorized the use of unauthorized networks into our system. So if someone unauthorized, some untrusted network is trying to gain access into our system, the job of a firewall is to warn us or to prevent the packets from entering our network. So let us see how we can let us learn a little bit more about a firewall. What about a VPN? How many of you heard of a VPN before? You guys have any idea about a VPN? If you don't, that's fine. We will learn today. That's the purpose of it. Yeah. What is the advantage of a VPN?
Suppose just my recent experience I'm sharing that one of the site from India I cannot access from Australia.
Okay.
So I just sign up to a VPN, virtual private network, to just access that site. So that I can access some of the sites from India. Like if any country blocks any website, then the VPN helps us to access the another country's websites.
Not just another countries, but it is
Yes.
anything that is blocked.
Yes.
So that is true. Okay, so that's very good. That's a brief introduction. So today, what is the purpose of today's lecture? We will learn a little bit more about accessing controls in information systems, and we will also look at different authentication factors that are like most popularly used in major small businesses and network systems. And we will look at firewall technology and how to implement that firewall technology. We will discuss specifically how the content is filtered and what technology is used to do content filtering. We are not going to go deep into the technical details of the underlying technology, but we will get introduction and insights into what each technology is doing. And we will also describe how the technology enables the use of VPNs. So VPN, what are the purposes? I think most of you already know, and how we can enable such a VPN, we will learn today. So today, let's start with the technical controls and technical control solutions. So when you're talking about technical controls, what are we talking about? What is the meaning of a technical control? When it comes to access, what is the meaning of a technical control? How do you define the term technical control?
Sir, I think technically controlling the unauthorized access.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you control that? How do you do that? Like using, what is the meaning of a technical control rather than like manual control, as opposed to manual control? How do you control technically? See, whenever you receive a packet, every packet has a header, source code, and destination code. When you are using that information and you are building it into your network, saying that, hey, I want you to do this based on this. So that is called a technical control. That means there is no person actually physically examining what is going to happen. So the technical control that is in place helps you automate, right? They automate the security in your system. That means you cannot check each and every breach or each and every packet manually. So in order for us to do so, it will take a lot of time. So a technical control is something that that uses the header information, the destination code, the source code. These are the things that we can feed into our system, our firewall, for example, and we use that to allow or deny access to certain networks. Is that clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm muting everybody. I'm muting everybody so that if you want to, I don't want noise to be coming in. So if you want to speak, please speak. All right, so let's move on to access controls. How many of you have ever taken a course in information security before? Have you ever taken like cybersecurity course, or like or most of the things that you're learning today are based on general knowledge, or is it like something that you have already taken a course in VPN? And does anybody have experience with that? Because last semester there were a couple of students who already took cyber security before they came here. That would be really helpful, by the way. Even though cybersecurity is at a higher level compared to the course that we are doing today. But anybody have taken any course related to information security systems before? No?
Yeah, FortiGate 1 and 2.
What did you learn?
FortiGate.
FortiGate.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's good. Now let's move on to access controls. What is an access control? What is the meaning of access, first of all? What's the meaning of access? Simple access. The word, like in English, what do you mean access? Do you have access? You don't have access? That is a term that, yeah. Access means what? Authorization or permission to use something. That's called access, right? So let us say you don't have, like for example, you don't have access to the Moodle, maybe because you are not enrolled in the course. So that is called access. So now access control can be of different levels, and these are the technical terms that you need to understand. Mandatory access control, the simple way to look at it is, without this, right, you will not be able to access certain websites or certain networks. That is called mandatory access control. See, for example, mandatory access control is enforced for you when it comes to password. So by giving you a password, and only if you enter your password and your login ID, then only you will be able to access a particular system or particular network, whatever. So that is called mandatory access control. Non-discretionary access control means you will allow based on certain, like discretionary means they use certain logic to allow the control, right? Based on packets, based on IP addresses. Non-discretionary control means without any discretion. That means you don't even think, you don't like you block everything without any weight to anything. For example, if I go to KOI website, or like if you go to company website and you try to open a web page that is related to education.gov, like American University Education, right? I want to look at a university website. So if that was controlled, if that access was denied to me, that could have been primarily because of a non-discretionary control, because they are not allowing any packet out from outside of their limited library to be able to access the information from this computer. So that is called a non-discretionary control. Discretionary access control, DACs, these are most widely used. So for example, you can ban certain websites, you can ban certain packets, you can ban you can control for access from specified list of websites as well. For example, if you go to KOI, I'm not sure if were you able to access Facebook using a KOI computer? Can you open Facebook on a KOI computer? Have you ever tried that? Have you ever tried working on a KOI computer before?
No, sir.
Okay, so if you have tried, I'm not sure. I never tried opening Facebook or anything like that on KOI, so I don't know the answer for this. But I am assuming that if you have tried, you would have been denied access to Facebook. But if you have tried to open mygov.au, right? If you want to open abs.au, Australian Bureau of Statistics, something like that, they will allow you to access that website. If you want to open YouTube, they will allow access. If you want to open Google, they will allow access. So this is a classic example of a discretionary access control. So they are looking to allow packets by discretion, right? That means if it is there is some decision making process that is involved in the packets and then the source, and then they will then the firewall will determine whether that is a safe website or safe network to be accessing, and then you will get the access based on that. That is a classic example of a discretionary control, DAC. And but non-discretionary controls are also common because people don't want to think too much. Like they say, like, okay, this is a work computer and you want to, in this network we don't want to use any other website whatsoever. It is like mostly like access only to intranet, right? Maybe they allow you one or two websites such as Google, such as Wikipedia, something in order for you to look up something. But usually, more likely than not, it is like even if you look at big software giants, tech giants, they use discretionary access controls because they don't want to block a lot of content, because the users may be actually needing a lot to visit a lot of websites. So that is called access control. Then identification. All right, so what is the meaning of identification of identification of somebody who supplies something? So when you are gaining access, whether you are a packet, whether you are a website, whether you are a person, so you need to identify the one who is trying to gain access. So if the supplicant is actually the person who is authorized, supplicant is the one who supplies the information. So then you need to identify the packet, identify the source, identify the destination. So identifiers can be a mixture of different identifiers: source identifiers, destination identifiers, and packet headers. So then we need to look at authentication. Authentication is when you are trying to gain access to any network, right? So there are certain authentication factors. Now in most computers, in most small businesses today, the authentication factors are nothing more than a password or a passphrase. But even if you look at like your mobile phone, so earlier mobile phones used to come without any authentication factors. Like, do you remember using a cell phone 10 years ago? How many of you have ever seen a cell phone in 2010? Have you ever used a cell phone in 2010, 10 years ago, when you're 15 years?
Nokia.
Yeah. So if you lose your Nokia phone, anybody can pick up that phone and look at all your contacts without any issues, right?
Yeah.
There is no authentication there, right? There is no control. So now how are today's what are the authentications that are used today for a mobile phone, for example? What authentication factors are used?
Fingerprint, face recognition, lock pattern, security.
Pattern recognition, face recognition, and also voice recognition, fingerprint, so password. So there are it's not just one step authentication. There are, like, if you have Gmail, right, you have two-step authentication as well, right? That means they will you try to access a website, you try to access your Gmail account, set up it for the first time, then they will send you a code to your cell phone, and then you have to enter that code in order to check. So that's a two-factor authentication. So you probably are familiar with this as well when you're trying to gain access to a secure website. Like if you want to open a Centerlink or MyGov account or any secure website where, or even a bank account, right? If you want to open a bank account or gain access to your banking online, So the banking account, because they want to be secure, they want to make sure that it is you who is using that. So they can ask you to say a passphrase, right? What is a passphrase? um, Passphrase is simply like a passcode. It's simply longer than a passcode, and you can, it is like a word. Like for example, if I want to transfer like 5,000, anything over $5,000 to a friend of mine using my bank account online, so the computer asks me to say a passphrase, right? It tells me in Australia your voice identifies you, right? Have you, or are you familiar with this term, or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is a passphrase. So basically it is based on voice recognition based authentication. Similarly, the computers on the networks, you've seen in like big movies or something, the bio, like, somebody has to put their fingerprint before they enter like a secure server location, or the computer screens your eyes. This is also even at the immigration checkpoints, they use the color of the eyes, color of the pupils. You need to look at, you need to put both your fingers. Do you remember this? So these are all authentication factors. Authentication is one of the key ways in which, so the same logic applies to packets that are coming in as well. So it identifies what the supplicant has, right? That means what is it that he has. He has the right password, and what the supplicant is, that means who is he, right? It means if the supplicant has a particular access control, like, if you are entering into into a room, you need a key, right? What a supplicant has is a key. Do you have the key to enter it, right? Or like if it is like, remember, there is a network room where you need to enter a passcode in order to enter that room. Do you know, like, are you familiar with this? Like in a student cafeteria or a staff room, what the way they control authentication is by giving the supplicant a certain keyword, right? If I'm working, so 3752, so if you enter 3752, the door opens and you can go. So but everybody who knows this code is allowed to go in, right? It is not verifying who the applicant is, right? I cannot find out, okay, somebody opened and came into the room, but I do not know who that person is, right? But I'm sure that the person has the key. So that is authentication on checking what the applicant has. And you can also check who the supplicant is by asking him to put his fingerprint, or asking him to, like, check his eyes, whatever. This is authentication of what the supplicant has and what the supplicant is. So this is what authorization will come in. So authorization is given for each and every authenticated user. So whenever, like, let us say you are trying to access a particular network, so you will be given a network email and a network password that you choose, right? So this authorization is only for the particular members of the group. For example, I am a KOI staff member, so I may be given access to the control of I can go into the KOI staff room by using a key that was provided to me because I am an authorized staff member. So similarly, authorization across multiple systems, I can access different multiple systems because I am authorized to use by entering the password and the key. So this is called basically an authorization. And next one is accountability. What is accountability? What is the meaning of the word accountability? Can anyone you might have heard this word before. What is the meaning of the word accountability? acting in the right way, right? Doing the right thing. That is kind of like responsibility. Accountability means what?
Is it like
Right.
liability?
Take in, like consider,
Or
kind
like
of thing.
the law is equal for everyone.
No, that's not accountability. No. What is the meaning?
Is it like liability?
Yeah, kind of like that, but not liability. Liability has a different meaning, actually. Someone is accountable, right? When do you use the word, oh, he is accountable, she is accountable?
If somebody does, if somebody has to pay for it.
Yeah, that is still liability. You are making a good guess, but it is very close to the actual truth, but it's not 100% right. Accountability. Right, let us say, okay, let me give you an example. Somebody opened the website. Somebody gained access to the staff control room, and they were able to download the question papers, right? So when the CEO of the institution says, hey, who did this? Why did it happen? Right? Who is accountable for this? That means accountability is an issue of when you are doing something, you are assuming that when you trace back, they can find out what has gone bad and why has it gone wrong. That is called accountability. Right? When you invest in a business, okay, when you put some money in the business and you lose the money, right? And you made a bad decision and you lose the money. So now the CEO can actually see, hey, who is accountable for this? Because of what reason did this happen? That is called accountability. The ability to go back in time and see something has gone wrong because of a particular decision, because of somebody worked in did something unauthorized or something unaccepted. So that is called accountability. Accountability means like you do something, you are accountable for it, right? You are given a project, right? You are given a project to do, like you are given an assignment to do, right? So you didn't do it. Like you are accountable to you. Let us say you are the group leader. Let us say you are working in groups, 4 people or 5 people working in groups, and you are the team leader. Okay, now the team leader is accountable for the project to be delivered on time. So that's called accountability. That means you are auditable. Like that means auditability is ability to check where something has gone wrong. So the same thing must be there when it comes to information security as well. For example, if someone gains access into my network, okay, I must be able to go back and see which computer was breached, right? What is the weakest link in my network? I am going to go back and look at the system logs. You know what a system log is? Do you know what a system log is? Anybody
Yes,
heard
we
of
know.
a system log? What does a system log usually contain?
Histories?
Yeah, it basically
Login
gives you
and
the
log of
history of
history.
the, yeah,
It contains the record of all the actions,
detailed record of all.
all the actions taken by the computer.
Yes, yeah, it's a detailed record of all interactive actions taken by the computer, right? So basically,
Activity of computers.
What? Can you please repeat? I couldn't hear you. It was very quick. Ability of computer, you said something like that.
No, sir. Activity of computer.
Activity, yes, correct. Activity, yeah. So what was done? Yeah, that was it is like a record. So these logs, they give you information and we keep this like in a journal for a while. So when you are accessing Google server or something, like, you know, the Google keeps track of where the who is accessing it, where the IP address, where the search is coming from. So that is, they keep it on system logs for a while before they delete it. For, like, you know, it's already 6 months old, we don't need to keep that. So this is about recording specifics of a particular access, so that if something goes wrong, right, they have to go back and say, hey, look, on 12th of August of 2020, somebody from this IP address accessed this, and because of that we were able to we got into trouble, right? That's called accountability. In order for me to be that accountable, what do I need to do? I need to keep a record of all the logs that were created. I need to keep a record at least for 6 months. So I say, okay, in the last 6 months, if something has happened, I can go back and trace, hey, because of this reason, this happened. This, let us say you are an employee at a major institution, and some breach happened through your computer, right? Because you visited a website that you shouldn't visit, or you gave unauthorized access to somebody, and that, because of that, you are the loophole, and because of that, then you are accountable for the mistake, and you are liable for the loss, and you are accountable for the for whatever damage was done. Okay, so that is holding somebody responsible, holding somebody accountable. Now,
Sir, can we
yes,
check the system logs older than 6 months? Or
yeah,
we
you
can't?
can. So usually when you are looking at the major companies, right, so keeping a record of logs for, like, okay, so if it is a company such as like a small business, like KOI or something, some business, so you can keep a record for longer. But usually when it comes to major companies like Google, Facebook, or big tech giants, so the server space is actually constrained, and because they have so many people accessing it, right? So it is almost overwhelming amount of logs and records to be kept. So usually they keep it for a limited amount of time. Sometimes they keep it only for a month, sometimes they keep it for a year. So it depends on how much of server space they have. Does it answer your question?
Okay, thank you,
It is a
thank you so
flexibility.
much.
Yeah. Does it
Thank
answer your question or not? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah.
got my
So
answer. Thank you.
yeah, it is flexible, but usually it depends on how much. Like, if it is a banking system, obviously they will keep the record for a longer time,
Like
because
it's depend upon the capacity of storage devices of the servers, like how long we can store them. Is
what
it
can, what
like
can you be?
it depends on the capacity of the servers, so
Yes.
how long we can store them or use them.
Obviously, because we cannot store like infinite amount of data, correct? So we
Like,
need to
yes,
draw a line somewhere saying that, okay, it's enough.
yeah,
6 months of data. It's just like even in government, like even if your government databases, even they throw away some of the data, they eliminate some of the data, because if it is like 1940, how much of data you want to keep from 1940 that you want to be useful. So even the data compression, data minimization is also like is a science in itself.
yeah.
Anyway,
Thank you so much.
yeah. So now let's look at a firewall. As I told you, firewall usually it's like a software service that runs on an existing server, right? If you have a server, like example like a KY server, so it is a separate service. It's a software service that runs on the router, right? You know, on the existing KY router, for example, or a KY server. So we need to have separate network, separate devices to control for this, right? And these are called firewalls. Firewall is something that filters the data. Think of it like something is coming through through a firewall, and only a few things will go through the firewall. So think of it like that, and that would be the most simplified version of thinking about a firewall. But if you want to look a little bit more into detail about the firewalls, these are the things. These, we can categorize them into different modes of using firewalls. The first and the most simplest one is called a packet filtering firewall. Then we have application gateways. These are also quite popular. The packet filtering and application gateway is a proxy server. So those two are the most popular ones. Then we have circuit gateways, and we have MAC layer, multiple access control layer firewall. And we have a hybrid that kind of uses a little bit of application gateway and packet filtering together. So basically, the kind of firewall that you use for your institution depends on the breadth and the depth of the network, right? The breadth of the network means how many computers are actually connected directly to the host. And the depth of the network is how many linking computers, how many people are actually working, accessing the depth. That means, hierarchy and how the depth means, what the depth means, like number of people under each computer network. So that is called, it depends on it depends on a particular organization. It is not uniform across all the it is user, it is based on the computers. It's not based on your capacity. It's based on what is required and whether what is the need for the organization. So, and depending on that, a company may choose, sometimes they may use packet filtering, sometimes they may use circuit gateways. So we'll look at a few examples. First of all, let me talk about packet filtering gate walls. In the packet filtering gate walls, we have two things. We have IP address. Okay, what is it when people use the word IP address, right? What does it mean? What is the meaning of the word IP?
Internet protocol.
Yeah. So what is the meaning of the protocol? What does the word internet protocol mean?
It is some kind
Protocols
of
are a set of rules.
Set of rules.
What is the word IP? Like, like somebody is looking at my IP address, right? What is the meaning of the IP address? IP means what?
It is a unique address.
Unique address, correct? That identifies what?
That identifies
Identify a
computer
device
or
that is
identifies a
using.
device type.
This is a unique address that identifies an device which is using the internet, using some protocols or set of rules.
Yeah, it identifies what?
Source and
It
destination.
identifies
the location.
Yeah, it
It
identifies the
identifies a
source.
PC in the network.
It identifies the source. An IP address identifies the source, right? If I am accessing a particular network, particular website from my computer has an IP address that can be accounted for. That is the source. Right now I can go for the destination as well, but when I am accessing from my computer, if I'm accessing a website, an Australian website or whatever website, right? Now the IP address will have the source address. My IP address is the source address. And so it will also tell me, the packet filtering will also control whether it is the information is going outward or inward, whether I'm uploading something into the server, into the Australian server, or whether the data is being extracted. How are the packets moving across because of this interaction? So this is called basic packet filtering firewall. So we will we can also learn a little bit about the TCP, transmission control protocol, and the user data protocol. So these are all based on the source and destination requests. So that means you make a request from your source port, you make a request to access a particular server that you wanna gain access to, right? That is being actually controlled by what we call a transmission control protocol. The interaction, the transmission of the packets is actually controlled. Which packets move, which packets don't, and they are usually controlled by TCP. And UDP is which it is the control of the data. So it controls what data can actually move across these across the source address and the destination address. So based on the request that you make, you can write the code to see, hey, these are the ones that must be allowed by the TCP, and these are the ones that shouldn't be allowed. So, but let me tell you that IP and TCP, they work together. They don't work independently. So most of the time you see IP/TCP. Are you familiar with that or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so IP/TCP, because both must be done properly in order for you to do the packet filtering properly. So packet filtering is a very basic way in which you can look at the packet and allow certain packets and look at the direction in which the packets are moving. And the IP and the TCP, these protocols, they monitor and control what goes on among between the input and the output destination. So the modes, if you look at the firewall modes, there can be three kinds of firewall modes. We can define them as a static filtering, dynamic filtering, and a stateful inspection. Let us look at what a typical firewall will look like. So let us look at the one that you see on the screen. This is a very simple code that you can write, right? If you want to design a firewall, like you want to design a firewall, look at the one that you are seeing on the screen. So this is something that very simple code. Now you can write if let me okay, let me increase the size. Okay, now if you look at a simple rule, right? This is a rule that you can write as a information security engineer, or like or entry level engineer. You can look at, okay, so if the source address is this and the destination address is this, so if the service is, whether it is like HTTP or HTTPS or whatever service you are using, you allow or deny. So basically, if the source address is equal to 192.168.x, then allow. Then you can write a code like, if the source address is equal to 192.168.0.1 and the destination address is equal to 10.10.10.10, and if the service is provided by FTP server, then allow. So you can write a if conditions, a lot of if conditions to create these conditions to allow what filters, right? What data or what information must be flowing through the server. Is that clear? So basically, we are controlling based on the addresses, right? Based on the addresses, and based on the server as well to some extent, but mostly based on the address. We are so worried about the source address and the destination address. So if somebody from a remote computer, like from somebody from Zimbabwe or somebody from Nigeria is trying to access my destination address, right, then I want to deny it. Right, it's like blocking a phone call that you don't know. You're getting a call from a number that you don't know. You can deny that phone call, right? That's exactly what this is. It's like blocking a phone call. So that means denying access. But if you are familiar with the source address, right, and you are doing it on HTTP, so what is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS?
HTTPS is more secure.
Yeah, what is the full form of HTTP?
Hypertext transfer protocol.
Very good. Hypertext transfer protocol. That means you are transferring the hypertext, right? And that protocol is actually when if it is not secure, that means you can like anybody can access that, right? But if it is HTTPS only, it is actually very secure website. So most of the websites today, they use HTTPS. Okay, and the HTTPS server is considered to be widely used, whether it is like, you can open anything, right? Let me show you HTTPS protocols. Like now you can see LinkedIn, for example, is a HTTPS protocol. Now I can click on it. Now it will tell me what kind of protocol it is, right? Now I click on it. Now it will tell me it is okay. So now, okay, why am I? Okay, so where would I find this? One Google. Okay. Usually it is quite visible right away. We click on this. Connection is secure. Learn more. Okay, learn more. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, now you can see if I look at HTTPS, it says your connection is secure, information or not secure. And now if it is secure, I will get a lock key on the security thing. Now I can see, if I open my LinkedIn, now I can see a lock. That means only a few people, like only me, it is an authorized network. So if I see something like not secure or dangerous, right, then I will get something like this. But for most of the websites that are using HTTP, I will get something like I, right? So you need to understand what each secure symbol means. If it is secure, even if you see this icon, always be careful when sharing private information. So information you send through this site is private. That means if I am using LinkedIn, right, this is the website that I'm talking about, it is a secure website, and but if you are looking at usually this website, this is not using a private connection. Okay, this happens when you see HTTP, right? Delete. If you enter HTTP, that means you are that means the site, the server connection is not secure. But if you enter HTTPS, it becomes a secure website. But if that doesn't work, like you need to contact the server and make sure that you can secure your data with HTTPS only. You cannot secure the data with HTTP. So this is what the difference between HTTP and HTTPS, and the difference between a secure connection and a not secure connection. The other one that you should also be familiar with is a dangerous connection. So whenever you see this symbol right next to a website, right? Like for example, let us open bingo fence, right? No, that is also like, it is nowadays it is very hard to find some website that is dangerous, right? Like let us try and find a website that like, okay, KOI.com, right? Let us see if our KOI website is a secure website or not. Maybe not. Okay. www.koi. Let us open www.koi.edu. Let's see. Sorry. If you open this website, now you can see the symbol here. Are you able to see the screen, guys? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
do you see the symbol here? What is the
Yes,
symbol
sir.
here?
Using HTTP.
Yeah,
protocol.
it is I. So what does it mean? So now you can see that this is not a secure website. Now you can understand by looking at the website. Now you can see why you can look at the JavaScript. I don't want to go deep into that. Now if you look at that, Chrome can help you. Okay, so it is not a secure website like we talked about other websites. So that is a difference between HTTP and HTTPS, where the it is what we call like the level of security that we can use, we can employ for our website. So let's get back to the lecture. I hope that helps. So basically we can allow or deny the access as well. So the firewall processing modes, we have what we call a proxy server. Proxy server is kind of that means you are pretending that we are using an additional server that is pretending to be our main server, right? And then you are not directly, if someone is trying to contact KOI, for example, and if we, let's say we have an application gateway, let me show you the example here. Okay, all right. So where is the application gateway? Okay, so I mean, it just okay, a proxy server, for example, a proxy server pretends to be a server that that is the destination server, and because of this we are able to control. If someone is trying to access, like let us say a bank, okay, the bank can have a proxy server because that proxy server is the one that interacts with your computer. You don't interact with the bank server. Let us say you have an ANZ bank account. Like you cannot actually go into the ANZ bank server. You cannot access that server. So what the bank does is create a proxy server, and that will act as an application gateway. That means it is acting as a gateway for you to access the server, but it is not you are not actually interacting with the real server, but the bank has employed what we call a proxy server to create and facilitate this interaction with you, because it is a highly secured and highly sensitive information can actually flow through the data. The bank doesn't want you, because you may be a hacker, doesn't want you to gain access to the server directly. They create what we call a proxy server. Is that clear what a proxy server is? Is that clear?
How this proxy server
Yeah.
saves the main server?
The proxy server communicates with the main server in the bank. So when you are talking to the bank, when you are creating a transaction in the bank, right, with the bank, so you are accessing what we call a proxy server of the bank, right? ANZ has a proxy server. This proxy server is the one that completes the transaction. You want to transfer money from your bank account to another bank account, let us say, on online. So the proxy server enables you to do the transaction, but you do not know the source destination. You do not know you do not have access to the destination. So the proxy server is preventing you from gaining access to the destination, but it is enabling you to do so by creating a proxy server that can filter whether it is a good idea to interact with you, and that way it is saving the information. It is saving its personal information from being leaked out. Is that making sense? A proxy server is something like, okay, let us say you want to communicate with somebody on the net, right? But you let us say okay, let us say you want to buy like tomatoes from the market. Okay, now you can go to the market by yourself and buy tomatoes, right? Or you can send somebody, right, like a kid, saying give him $10 and say like, hey, go to the market and get me some tomatoes. Okay, so the kid can go to the market, get the tomatoes and give it back to you, but the person who is selling the tomatoes, he doesn't know that he's selling it to you. Okay, so that means I have hidden my information. That person has hidden his information from being leaked out. Is that clear? That's what a proxy server is. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is what a proxy server is. You are saving your identity. You are filtering, like you are making sure that your information is hidden. So the circuit gateway is also similar, but it authorizes only traffic in certain channels. So one thing that you don't need to understand deeply is the underlying technology that is involved in each of these. What I want you to understand is the fundamental role of each of these. Right, in this course, this is an introductory course, so we are not going to go into designing the code, designing the hardware, designing the software. That's not what the purpose of this course is. The purpose of this course is to give you introduction to what each firewall does, basically. Right, we will not ask you explain in in 20 sentences the operation of a circuit gateway firewall. That's not what we are asking. We are looking at what is the purpose of a application gateway. What is the purpose of a proxy server? What is the purpose of an application gateway? So these are the basic things that you are required to know when you go for an interview for a job. Let us say you need to know some basic details about what you are required to do. So that's what we are trying to give you information about. So the difference between the application gateway and the circuit gateway is a circuit gateway operates by controlling the traffic. That means it only allows certain traffic to go through the tunnels. That means it operates at different tunnels. And it allows only certain data to be transmitted through that tunnel. And we can also call that a tunnel-based server, but the advanced tunnel-based servers are also something that are beyond the scope of this lecture. So those are all advanced techniques. So, but the other access control that we have is media access control. MSE layer is also very good at you specify the it will consider the specific host computer's identity. That means it will filter the traffic based on who the host is, right? So it will preserve the identity of the computers, of the host of the computer, and it will filter the traffic only to that computer. So that is basically MAC layer firewall is allowing media access control. That means it allows only certain data to be going through depending on the host. And the firewall, if you look at the hybrid firewalls are primarily used when you want to have the advantage of application gateway. You want to preserve the identity. At the same time, you want to have the speed of a packet filtering. Packet filtering firewall is the easiest one. It works very fast. It works very easily. And application gateway, it's slightly complex, but it is more secure. So how do you want to combine both the best of the both worlds? You can use two separate firewall devices, each with a different firewall system, and you can put them in tandem. So basically, it is an infrastructure that is to be operated based on the necessity of your organization. So firewalls basically, they have been evolving over a period of time. Even in like early 1900s, we have huge servers from companies such as Walmart, where they can be classified as a second generation firewalls. But the with the advancement in information technology, we are going like further into fifth generation firewalls and so on. So firewalls can also be used in different appliances. We can use at a residential level, and even for small offices, we can use a firewall. For example, if you go to the end of your room, your house, you probably would see something like this, right? Or like this, depending on, like, for example, I use Vodafone. It kind of looks like this server that I use. So basically it's a small office or a home office server. So basically it is this server is called SOHO, which is the standard form for like small office or a home office. Or we can a slightly complex one would be a residential grade firewall. But I would say that most of the servers that we are using today are not properly secure, and even the passwords are easily leaked out. Like, for example, if you have a server on, like, that you are using, like, let us say you are living with your friends or something, and it is quite possible that your friend gives the password of that server to somebody else, and it is quite insecure, really, right? If you look at the networks, right, if you look at the computer networks that you have access today, there are a um, few security issues when it comes to your internet as well. And a lot of people are not aware of this. They think like, oh, it is a secure server, it's based on password, oh, I'm safe. But that's not really true. Like, it is possible for somebody to have a look at your activity as well, if they were able to just hack into your system. So just be careful and be vigilant of what you are doing. So so basically the first and foremost packet filtering gate firewall would look like this. This is just a recap. So basically, if you are getting information from an untrusted network, you block the packets and you reject those packets. Unrestricted packets, or send them back, right? And then a packet filtering gate wall, it filters the packets and sends it to the server. So we have our trusted network here. Let us say you're doing, like, KOI or any small business that you have here. Now, from the untrusted network, it filters away and blocks away certain packets, and then only filtered packets are entering the network. This is a basic filtering technique. And actually, you know what, I'm gonna okay, so that's basically a packet filtering firewall. Now this one is so there are other kind of firewalls. This is like basically a proxy server. So the proxy server works like this. So somebody want to know what a proxy server is. So basically, this is our trusted network. Someone is trying to gain access, so they will gain access to the bastion host. Bastion host is a proxy server. Do you see how this works? So now this application level firewall, it is actually interacting with what we call a proxy server. And let us say we are here, the bank is here. Let us say the bank doesn't, like, this user from an untrusted network cannot directly access the bank. No, he is accessing a proxy server. So this is the advantage. The advantage of the proxy server is that you are kind of saving yourself from being leaked out. From the data, you are protecting the data, you are protecting the access, you are managing the controls of the data. So this is how a proxy server works. Is that making sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let me put it in the proxy server. I mean, I don't know why these were like moved or something. This is also called, what is the other name for a proxy server? What is the other name for a proxy server? I talked about it. What is the other name for a proxy server? Guys, what is the other name for a proxy server?
Application server.
Application gateway.
Okay, yeah.
So application gateway means you are using that as a gateway for the information, right? So basically what a proxy server can do is mask the IP address. Let us say you are sending a 24-bit information, right? Let us say you are sending from one server. Let us say this is your home server, okay, and this is your host. This is your actual server, right? Now I don't want people to know this, right? What do? I don't want people to know my IP address. I don't want my server to be vulnerable. So what do? I will mask it. I will mask this IP address using my proxy server, and the mask will be 255.0.0.0. And if the person is hacking your computer, he will see this number 255.0.0.0. He cannot hack anything because that is not your source destination. But you will be able to relate. Okay, so I am simplifying my IP address. I'm relating this one is related to this, and 172.31. If this is your computer address, I want to convert it into like this. If this is my IP address, I want to convert it like this. So what is the IP address that I want to show to the server who is to the man or woman who is trying to access it? Okay, so is that making sense? So this is non-routable. Like, so that means you cannot look at the IP address and say, hey, I'm getting this from, this is my IP address, I got it. Let's do some hacking. That's not possible because I'm masking it. So basically this is what most of the VPNs do. They hide. And we will talk a little bit more about the VPNs. Okay, we'll talk about the VPNs and how this is working. So proxy access is something that is, whenever you have a trusted network, we provide only proxy access. So this is another form of dual homed host firewall, but this is similarly this is simply another kind of proxy firewall. So basically it filters the external router, and it allows only certain packets, and you are not able to, any untrusted network is not gaining access directly to the secured, through the trusted network. It is going through a firewall that is providing a proxy access. That is the advantage of the firewall. And one more important thing, when it comes to firewall, it is always related, and it must be tailored to what you want, right? What is it that your company wants, right? You should know, like if you want to install like so many firewalls, obviously the cost will be high, right? But if you're a small business, you want to optimize, right? What is the meaning of the word optimize? What's the meaning of word optimize? If you're an engineering student, you know what optimize means, right? You don't want to overdo certain things. Like for example, you don't want to carry umbrella when there is no forecast of rain, right? But if you carry an umbrella, it will be unnecessary hassle. You need to carry every time, even during the summer days when there is no prediction of a rain. You can carry it, right? It will be giving you more security, but unfortunately it is also giving you, I mean, it will also expensive. It's like buying insurance, right? You can buy health insurance, you can buy life insurance, whatever insurance you want, but it will give you protection, yes, but is it worth the cost? So that is also always subject to personal and organizational level, making sure that, okay, so do I want to invest in a circuit gateway, or do I want to invest in a proxy server, or can I just do it like a basic packet filtering? It's up to me. It's up to what I can afford, how much is my budget, how secure should my data be if I'm a small business and I'm running a bank, right? If I'm a small bank, obviously the security is huge. But on the other hand, if I'm running a small IT company, right, where I mean, not IT company. If I'm running a small business and I'm using my using my computer or a network to gather access with different clients, so obviously my security will not be as much as the bank. So I may not be investing so much money in the banks. I will not be investing so much money for the security. So the configuration rules, whenever you are configuring and managing the firewalls, you need to understand the security versus performance. High security servers are usually slow. Do you know why? If you want the server or the network to be extremely secure, right, you are sacrificing on the performance, because packets are not flowing smoothly. They are going through a proxy server, they are filtering, they are going back. So all of this is going to increase the time and decrease the performance of a server. So while it is good to have good controls, while it is good to have decent firewalls in place, always make sure that you are not sacrificing too much of a performance because of the security issue. So also remember that, and it should not be too complex or difficult. Managing a firewall should be simple, and understanding the right firewall that can be used. That means it's optimization between the cost, the performance, and security. All the three things must be considered in relation to your specific need. Okay, so just give me a couple of minutes. I'll take attendance, and then I will I'll look at the second part of our lecture. Like, just give me 1 minute.
User traffic from the trusted network. The firewall just lets it go right through. Firewalls are designed to stop attacks coming from the outside, not from the inside. Another method is by employees accidentally visiting malicious or compromised. Website. Criminals even compromise real websites, so the next time you visit a perfectly normal site, you get infected. Yeah, happens all the time. You can also be infected with malware through a USB memory stick, portable hard drive, or cloud storage sites. Often, malware infections happen when you take your laptop home. Let little Billy play games or do homework on the laptop, and you guessed it, infected. That malware is then on the inside of the corporate network when you return to the office or connect remotely. These are just some of the methods criminals use to compromise your network. And once a single system is infected, the malware spreads throughout the entire network, infecting everything. And all those great mobile devices your employees are using, they create more ways than ever to get malware on your network. Once you're infected, Malware can remotely control the computer, extract data, watch what employees are doing,
Okay. So, hello guys. So let's start. Let's continue. Let's take attendance. And somebody said that they have not taken the quiz. Anybody did not take the quiz yet?
Yes, sir.
Banu. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody? Suraj?
Yep.
Did you take the quiz?
No, sir. I need to take the quiz.
Okay, only 2 people. Banu and Suraj. Is that all? Anybody else need to take the quiz? That's one thing that. Okay, let me mute everybody. You're sitting in the train and taking the lecture. Huh? How the world has changed. All right, so let's go through the rest of the lecture. Now we are just talking about VPN. What is a VPN? So VPN is an extension of our internal network. So our trusted network, we just extend it. So the VPN technologies that we are using are the trusted VPN, a secure VPN, and a hybrid VPN. Let's take a look at what these are supposed to accomplish. Can I hide this? Okay, that's fine. So a VPN should accomplish encapsulation, encryption, and authentication. So encapsulation means it will encompass whatever the data that is. Encapsulation means it will take the data and put it into small capsules, right? So that is called encapsulation, and it needs to encrypt the data. Encrypt the data means it will take these packets and convert them into packets that cannot be readable. And then it will provide authentication. That means only a few people, only authenticated people must be used to do this. So these are the 3 fundamental tasks that a VPN must do. It put the data into a small capsule, encrypt the data, that means convert them into a code that is very difficult to follow, and then provide authentication. All 3 are the fundamental purposes of a VPN. Let us see how a VPN can use. So VPN, the 2 popular uses of a VPN is end-to-end transport. Somebody told me that they want to gain access to some server in India, right? So, but that server is blocked because you are accessing from Australia. So the way in which a VPN can help you is it does end-to-end transport without any problem because it hides the IP address of the source. So basically you are hiding and you are pretending to be somebody else, right? So you are pretending to be somebody else, and your virtual private network provides you the necessary privacy for you to do that end-to-end transport. Let us take a look at this example. Now, if you look at a teleworker client, he requests intranet connection using transport mode VPN. And then the client acts as if he was locally connected. So basically what we are using, we have an untrusted network, and let us see how we will be able to access this network that we have here using a VPN. So a remote VPN server basically acts as an intermediate client, right? And it decrypts the info, it encrypts or decrypts the traffic from the remote client. So basically, if I am here and I want to gain access to server back in India, so basically this VPN that I am using right now is going to convert the packages into a decrypted form. And then this the trusted server, it thinks that, oh, okay, the packet is coming from within India, right? And then it will allow you to get that because it is encrypted. Do you know the meaning of encryption? How many of you know the meaning of the word encryption?
Yes, sir. Cryptography encryption, and for that we use decryption.
Yeah, so encryption means converting the data, converting the capsules or the data capsules into something that it is not readable, something that is not understandable. So that is called encryption. Decryption means converting that that ciphertext into something that is readable, right?
Yeah.
So you are converting the text or the packets or whatever the address that you want to hide, right? You want to convert them into encrypted capsules, and these encrypted capsules, they are easily accepted by our trusted network. In that way, I am able to access, right? I am able to hide my VPN from the server. I am able to gain access to the server. I'm able to send email, whatever it is, but I am able to hide my personal identity because I am pretending to be somebody else. I'm pretending to be another IP address because the server is unable to deduce, because of my VPN is providing me the safety net of privacy. And now there is another mode that we'll talk about, which is called a tunnel server, where we have like a 2-perimeter server. These are different. These servers act as basically encryption points. So when an intercepted packet reveals nothing about the true destination system, what is the meaning of an interception? What is the meaning of the word interception? Have you used the word interception ever before? What is the meaning of the word intercepted packet?
Blocking the packet or stopping it.
No, intercepted means it is like interrupted, like it is stopped in the middle, right? If I am throwing something from one person to another person, and somebody stops that ball in the middle, that is called intercepted, right? Intercepted packet, it doesn't tell you anything about the destination system. So that is what that means. We are using two tunnels. As you can see, it is a virtual tunnel network. So in this, what happens is, let us see if your client is sending an unencrypted packet. So in this particular case, I am going through the VPN. What does VPN do? VPN do the encryption. It encrypts the client packet and places the data in the remote VPN server. So once the data is converted into an encrypted packet, that is going through the untrusted network. Now the remote VPN, it receives the packet, right? It receives this packet, and the untrusted network doesn't know. It cannot read the data. Why?
It's encrypted.
Because it is encrypted. Now the VPN, now the person who is the destination, now what the destination VPN server does is decryption. Now I am sharing the key to my destination server, and the destination server says, okay, this is my encrypted data, let me go ahead and decrypt that data. So once it decrypts the data, it sends that to the destination client. So basically what these servers are doing, the VPN servers are doing, it is channeling the data and the information through a tunnel like this. And that becomes an encrypt, like that's how the server receives the unencrypted packet. If you don't use the VPNs, what is the danger?
The file doesn't get encrypted and it can be read by the untrusted networks.
Yeah, it can be read by the untrusted network. So the VPN virtual tunnel, it enables, by using these two servers, one at the source end and one at the destination end, it creates this tunnel where only only a few people can, I mean, nobody else can actually go through it. Like it's a tunnel. In a tunnel, only one car can go at a time, let us say. So that means nobody can actually look at it from the sky, let us say. Like, you know, if a car is going through a tunnel, now you do not know what has happened inside the tunnel if you're looking from the sky, right? So that's called a tunnel mode VPN. So is that clear how the tunnel mode VPN works?
Sir, at the source, we are having a virtual private network. It is mandatory that at the destination also they should have a virtual private network.
Otherwise, we cannot decrypt it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is both the encryption and decryption must happen. So
Okay.
these VPNs, they talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So they talk to each other in the sense that whenever I create a encryption code here, encryption key here, I share that key with the source, with the destination. I create an encryption key. So we'll talk about symmetric encryption in the week 8 and week 9. But basically what you need to understand is the servers, they talk to each other. The servers, they know each other. The key is exchanged between the two servers. And that's how the untrusted network, unless you have the key, you cannot encrypt the data. That's the advantage of tunnel mode VPN. Is everything clear so far today?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to give examples with using real life. Hopefully that makes your understanding easy. So basically we did okay, so this is not something that we needed to learn for this class. So we looked at these are the things that we learned. We looked at firewalls, we looked at content filtering technology, and we looked at VPNs. And I also introduced you to how encryption can work over the two different VPNs over the network. So is that all making sense to all of you?
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Yeah, okay. I hope it makes sense. And what I'm gonna do is, there were some things that I made some changes as the lecture went on, because when I covered the content last semester, I used the same link. So anyway, the video, I'm gonna upload the videos as well for all these lectures into the Moodle. So if you are interested, you can definitely have access to all these videos, guys.
Yeah, that would be a great favor, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. I think you already, if you open my Moodle, if you open the Moodle, aren't they already there? I thought they were already there. It's very surprising that you don't have access to that. Let me open my website, my Moodle from my end, and let me see. Okay, so now you can see lecture 1, right? Lecture 1 video, introduction to IT security. If somebody who joined late, like joined late, you can see, they can see the videos. Lecture 2, need for information security. This is the lecture that I delivered this semester, like 4 weeks ago. And then lecture 2 video, right? And lecture 3 video.
Yes, sir. The videos are there till 5. I was just saying, I will be very thankful to you if you upload the video of today. I'm not
Okay.
saying
So
that
yeah,
you are not
that
in
is automatic. Yeah. So what I am, yeah. So I will upload all the videos. I will upload like because I deleted the last year's videos already. So I'm just recording these videos. I can stop the videos and I can record them. So if you are interested, you can share, you can save them, and I don't know if you want to use them in the future. I don't know whether you just want to use it for this course or you want to learn something. You can always save it up and use it, and but don't share it with people who are not authorized. That's not good. The content is actually it belongs to KOI, and you need to be aware that these are only for learning purposes, and they must not be sold, they must not be shared with people who are outside of KOI. So as long as you honor that code, I don't have any problem with sharing the content. Okay, because the reason why
That's what we are learning in the subject.
yeah, as long as you are as long as you are using it for learning the subject, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but if you are not supposed to share it with your friends who are not
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, so basically that will get you into trouble, that will get me into trouble. I don't know, maybe it will not get me into trouble because I'm just doing yeah, I don't know, but just don't do it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna close the window. So the people who did not have access to, who did not take the quiz, I'm gonna create the quiz. Let me stop recording first because I'm done with recording.
So quiz about week 4, right?
Quiz that should have been done in week 4. Yeah, next week we have another quiz, by the way. Yeah, did you guys all take the quiz?
Okay, sir.
Did you guys all take the quiz or not?
I have